Join us as we remember the lives of two former City College students.
We are the latest on Apple's involvement in terror investigation as the controversy grows.
The trailer for a popular Pixar sequel has just been released. Find out which one.
The clouds are getting closer and El Nino will have a lot more in store for us.
Good evening and welcome to this edition of Newscene. I'm Gabe Salazar.
And I'm Marie Marabe. Thank you for joining us. Today in breaking news, we have police discovers what could be an old evidence on the O.J. Simpson former property. TMZ broke the story saying a construction worker found a knife and gave it to an off-duty cop who kept it for years. The knife was then turned into authorities this year. LAPD is pending the investigation and is not releasing any further details. The knife will go through DNA tests next week.
Last month, dozens of former radio, TV, film students gathered here for an alumni reunion, but two students weren't there at the event. Fayana Moore is here with the story of two people who made an impact on their classmates. Fayana?
Arish, Gabe, thank you. Anyone who has taken classes at San Diego City College at this department knows how closely us students work together. Right before the alumni reunion, we lost two of our students. Tragically, they both died within weeks of each other, and it really hit home. A memorial table with photos of Corey Dalton and LaShawn Encarnacion sat in the corner of the room during the recent City College Newscene alumni celebration. Former classmates signed sympathy cards. Both Corey and LaShawn died unexpectedly last month. Leslie Ebner, who works at the KSDS radio station on campus, reflects.
First Christmas without my kid, and I said, I'm not even going to bother to put up a Christmas tree. And Corey showed up at my house one night with a Christmas tree, and he helped me decorate it, which was so kind of him. That's just the way he was. He was very thoughtful and very sweet.
Ironically, Corey Dalton anchored a special show in 2005 when Professor Hope Shaw suddenly died.
Good evening and welcome to this special edition of Newscene. I'm Corey Dalton.
And in the digital journalism department, students and teachers were shocked and sad over LaShawn's death. He used to be one of the sports editors.
He was a fighter. Because of the significant challenges he faced virtually his entire life, he knew how to fight and never wanted to give up.
LaShawn did this interview back in 2014 during a tough time in his life when he was struggling with some personal challenges.
How many times you get knocked down, but it's how many times you pick yourself back up, you brush the dirt off your shoulders, and you keep moving on and trying to find other ways to make it happen.
Two former students who made a lasting impression on their classmates, teachers, and friends at City College. Laid to rest with family and friends, surrounded by family and friends. And Corey Dalton's family and friends celebrated his life at one of his favorite spots in town, Numbers. Even though I didn't know them personally, it made me passionate about what we are working for.
Nobody will deny that the events that took place in San Bernardino were awful. With the assailants already passing during the events, the FBI is still looking for clues, namely a cellular device. Due to encryption, this task is easier said than done. Brian Jeffries has this quickly developing story.
Technology is advancing at a rapid pace. Cell phones have become very important to Americans. With so many relying on these personal devices, the question becomes, how private are our phones? Since the attacks in San Bernardino, the FBI wants Apple to create a way into the attackers' phones. Apple believes this will spark a slippery slope. We caught up with students at City College to find out their thoughts on the matter.
I think Apple's in the right, because if they're going to one person's phone for one crime, how much are they going to keep going for, the FBI? If it's one crime for one reason, it's going to be consistent.
Take advantage and use it to go through anyone who has an iPhone and get their info and all, the privacy.
Not only have much of the public backed Apple, but so has tech giant Google and even the ACLU. The FBI's attempt to move on private business isn't going unheard though. Some students aren't so sure if privacy is worth risking security.
Yeah, I feel that Apple should allow the FBI to get into those people's phones because I feel that they need to find out as much information as they possibly can on what happened in that terrorist attack.
As the court proceedings begin, it is clear that the results of this case will prove to be very important.
You know, where does it end? What happens then? You know, because there's hundreds of cases where you'd want to get into people's phone.
New information will be available in the coming weeks as the case unfolds. This has been Brian Jeffries, Newscene.
Although the FBI insists that they only want to get into one phone, it's difficult to be sure. Forcing a private company to work for the government sets a precedent that could lead to issues down the road, Apple exclaims. More updates are sure to follow.
Ku Klux Klan demonstrators and counter-protests broke out in violence last Saturday in Anaheim, California. Authorities say 13 people were arrested and 5 stabbed. According to the Anaheim Police Department, the KKK was responding in self-defense, backed by still photos and videos taken of the brawl.
That ultimately led to a melee in the street that stretched almost a whole city block down Cypress Street, where a number of other fights broke out.
One person was listed in critical condition, but is expected to wake in full recovery.
3 former current San Francisco sheriff deputies face charges for allegedly forcing inmates to battle each other. The fights allegedly took place in the downtown jail at the Hall of Justice Court while deputies watched. An investigation by the San Francisco Public Corruption Task Force resulted in charges against 2 deputies and 1 former deputy. Ellen Hurst, chief staff of the San Francisco County Sheriff Department, said, quote, "We're very glad the investigation is finally over and this is in the hands of the courts." More women are coming forward with accusations that a local dental hygienist assaulted them. 36-year-old Luis Ramos was arrested last month on suspicion of sexually assaulting a female patient while under anesthesia. Ramos is now facing over 24 counts of sexual assault. Ramos is being held on a $1 million bail. If convicted, Ramos could be sentenced to 18 years. Ramos' preliminary hearing is set for April 5th.
A little girl in Lakeside is being called a hero today. 10-year-old Kiara Larson died earlier this week when she pushed 2 younger kids out of the way of a rolling car. A GoFundMe account has been set up to help the Larson family and funeral expenses so far. More than $30,000 has been raised. You can contribute by visiting their GoFundMe link on GoFundMe.com.
The SASU basketball team had their eyes on the big dance, and the San Diego Chargers released 4 players. That and more local sports.
The SDSU basketball team has their eyes on the big dance, and the San Diego Chargers released 4 players. That and more on local sports coming up after the break.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
School.
The San Diego Community College District plans to make education more affordable. The Promise program will help 200 students next year. It will be limited to only San Diego Unified School District and San Diego Continuing Education for now. Students will have to enroll in 12 units, do 8 hours of community service, and maintain a 2.0 GPA. The UCSD health system is now certified to perform liver transplants to living donors. The new certification will reduce the number of patients that's caused by a delay in finding an organ donor. Dr. Ellen Hemming will be heading the program.
is a very risky procedure to have to do. All of the patients that I do this procedure on here up front, that there's a probably 15 to 20% operative mortality.
As of this year, the UCSD Health Center is the only local medical organization offering this procedure.
The 23rd Annual Latino Film Festival is back. San Diego City College students got free tickets for the event through the World Culture Program. We spoke with the co-director of the program, Karen Lim.
We gave out 14 free tickets today, and students were overjoyed to get free vouchers to go see the Latino Film Festival. There's some wonderful films, documentaries from all over the different countries in Latin America.
And get students to understand global issues. The festival runs from March 10th until March 20th at AMC Fashion Valley in San Diego.
He's touched our hearts for almost 100 years. The catchy rhymes, subtle messages, and family-friendly characters have left Dr. Seuss a place in the hearts of minds of children and grown-ups alike.
Today, Newscene very own Judah Hassana brings us a very special story in celebration of Dr. Seuss's birthday.
From the early part of the 20th century, straight into today, Dr. Seuss has touched our lives in a way that is unimaginable. Political issues, socioeconomics, and racial barriers are just some of the many hard topics Dr. Seuss tackled in a way that we can accept and understand from an early age. This week, we celebrate the birthday of the author who impacted the lives of so many. So to celebrate the occasion, I hit the streets to find out what people thought about Dr. Seuss.
I think he impacted me as a person. When I was younger, he sort of had this like creative, drive, and it sort of like drove me to be myself and do whatever I wanted because he was weird. He wrote a book about green eggs and ham. He just wrote whatever and let people judge him, and he was famous. He just did what he liked. He had a passion, and that sort of is inspiring to me. It is inspiring to me.
Inspiring to some and speaking to many, I soon would find out his impacts were plenty.
I don't like green eggs and ham, kind of thing, just like I don't like bell peppers, so it's okay to not like things, and it's okay to be your own person. He was really weird, and I liked his style.
It's generally accepted that Dr. Seuss spoke in a way that people could understand. His words resonated, sometimes even in the toughest situations.
High school, my senior year, my college advisor, my counselor, she gave me the book of The Places You'll Go. And the reason why she gave it to me was because I was having a really difficult time during high school. I had gone through some things, and it was just going really, really horrible. But that book is just really inspirational because there's a particular quote that's like, alone is something you'll be alone. And I feel like even though there's so many people around you, there's still ways that you can be alone and all that other stuff. But there's always something or someone that's gonna get you out of that mindset.
I talked to over 100 people this week about the man who's found a home in the hearts of so many. And time again, people had the same outcome. Dr. Seuss hadn't passed away in their minds. This week, on his birthday, he was just as much alive today as he was in times past.
So I got one more question.
Reporting from the land of the Lorax.
Do you like green eggs and ham?
No, I do not like green eggs and ham.
Judah Hosanna, Newscene.
Dr. Seuss not only was a writer of our favorite books, but he was a way of life. He taught us to be ourselves and to strive with ambition in our hearts. You can now support Dr. Seuss and all of his work for the rest of the week, celebrating his birthday by supporting Read Across America, a program that helps underprivileged youth gain valuable knowledge through reading. Now in this next story is every dog's dream. To chase tennis balls and be on the center of attention in front of thousands of people. Last week during an exhibition watched at the Brazil Tennis Open, ball boys were replaced with dogs that were rescued from the streets of Sao Paulo. The 4 dogs were trained for the couple of months by experts from the Association of Animal Well-Being. As you can see, they had no problem leaping on the court to get the ball, but dropping the ball became a little bit of an issue. According to the organization, they have more than 1,000 dogs in their care, and their main goal is to show people that well-treated and well-fed abandoned dogs can be happy and adopted.
SESU, San Diego Chargers, and the Padres. So much more to cover. Alvaro, what do you have for us?
I have a lot coming at you guys, so let me start by taking you out to Arizona as the Padres are preparing for the regular season at the spring training complex in Peoria. But what steps has San Diego taken to move forward after the low performance and high expectations of last year?
This has been a complete overhaul, obviously, in all aspects of the organization. AJ coming on board a year and a half ago was a significant block in that building process. Andy's reign beginning here this week is the next significant and final step.
A lot of people have counted out the Padres, and I think with the guys that we have here and the manager that we have here and the staff, just top to bottom, I think we're a team that can really surprise a lot of people just because of the expectations on us are lower.
Let's stay in Peoria, where the Padres are hosting the Seattle Mariners in the first official spring game. The newly acquired Alexi Ramirez doing his part, driving in the first run of the year with a hit up the middle. Seattle would be too much, though, as the Friars lose 6-5. San Diego hosts the world champion Kansas City Royals later on tonight. In San Diego, the Chargers are making moves ahead of this year's draft. San Diego parted ways with 4 players on Thursday. The most notable name is linebacker Donald Butler, who played 6 seasons with the Bolts. They also released running back Donald Brown and linebackers Kavil Connor and Chichio Riguzzo. San Diego State trying to bounce back Tuesday night, facing New Mexico after an upset loss at Boise. The Lobos came out swinging, taking an early lead on SDSU. The Aztecs would heat up and won't look back. Malik Pope and Trey Cal would lead the night in points. And check out the big slam by Xylon Cheatham. SDSU wins big, 87-56. The Aztecs will host the final game Saturday night versus UNLV at Viejas Arena. Let's head south of the border where the Chivas hosted the Cholos de Tijuana in the 8th leg Sunday afternoon. The Chivas take the early lead with the goal by Isaac Brenzuela. The Cholos would tie the game with an Edwin Hernandez auto goal in the 28th minute. Guadalajara with a chance to take the lead, but Omar Bravo would fail on the PK. The game ends in a 1-1 draw. Club Tijuana comes home to face La Fiera tonight at 7:30 p.m. at Estadio Caliente. In city sports, the softball team lost to Southwestern College on Wednesday afternoon, 6-1. And they also will host tomorrow a doubleheader at City College, 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. If you have nothing else to do, check them out or head on over to Grossmont College, where they will be hosting City College at 12 in the afternoon. Back to you guys.
Thanks for that, Alvaro. After the break, we'll be talking about entertainment coming up next.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft. To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60. Now I get it.
Hey, Johnny, tell us what's going on in entertainment today.
Well, folks, Bobby Christina Brown, the daughter of singers Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown, was determined to have died from drug intoxication and being immersed in water. The Fulton Medical Examiner's Office in Atlanta said the official cause of her death was pneumonia. She was only 22 years old. Before her uneventful time of passing, there were discussions and concerns about Bobby Christina's health. Brown's death was comparable to the way her mother passed away in 2012. In more news, comedian Cat Williams, whose real name is Micah Williams, was held on a $5,000 bail in Gainesville, Georgia on Monday. Mr. Williams was involved in a verbal altercation which ended with him throwing some display items down and then delivering a punch to the clerk he was arguing with. The attack occurred because the N-word was apparently thrown in Mr. Williams' direction at Leslie's Pool Supplies store. Rapper and entrepreneur Jay-Z is being sued by a recording artist for dues he has failed to be paid. The suit was filed in federal court in New York by John Emanuel, who is half of the American Dollar duo. Emanuel is seeking royalty payments around the sum of $17.7 million. This potential suit is headed towards a class action status on behalf of other artists who also have business with Tidal. Rocking the show is what he does, and rocking the show is what he did. Chris Rock hosted the 88th Academy Awards, or as he called it, the White People's Choice Awards, due to the lack of diversity in nominees. Rock was stuck between a rock and a hard place because of the taboo topic of diversity that nobody wants to address, but everybody can acknowledge. Expressing what millions of unheard voices were thinking, Rock requested for diversification when it comes to lead roles moving forward, or to at least consider other options that are non-white. And finally, the anticipation to just keep swimming has finally returned. That's right, folks. Dory is back and looking to be found like Nemo was in the Walt Disney sequel. After reeling in $381 million from the original movie, Finding Nemo, Disney is looking to make another splash hit with The Likes of a Fish. Finding Dory is set to hit theaters on June 17th. And that is all I have for you folks in entertainment. Back to you, Regis and Gabe.
All right, thanks for that, Johnny. After this short break, we'll be up next with GeoFuel with information on the incoming storms.
Today, 1 out of every 4 American kids is Hispanic. That means many of the future doctors who will care for us, the engineers who will build our cities, the scientists and entrepreneurs of our country can be your kids. We all know how hard it is for you to send them to college. This is why we want you to know you are not alone. And every day more people support you to make it happen. Many support you. And the Hispanic Scholarship Fund helps you prepare, plan, and pay for your kids' college education. HSF.net.
Hey everybody! Heart disease affects 1 in every 3 women in America, but you can fight back. There's no time to lose. Mothers, sisters, daughters, families, and friends, it's time to shout louder, stand stronger, and demand change. Let's go!
To the Batmobile. Dang it.
To the invisible jet. Dang it. Together, we can put an end to heart disease. It's time to go red for women. I could use your help. Yeah! Learn more from the American Heart Association at www.goredforwomen.org.
Welcome back, guys. It's been a great week of weather, but slowly, it's starting to get a little bit chilly out there.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of fog lately, especially where I live in La Jolla. GeoFuel has the latest on this weather forecast.
Gio, what's going on today? What's El Nino got for us in the next week or so?
Well, it looks like El Nino has come in like a lion for March. We have a lot of weather coming in our way. And let me step back here a little bit. We're going to be seeing, for most of the country, we're going to be having incredible weather. Here on the East Coast, finally, they're going to be going into the 70s. With Miami having incredible weather into the 80s. It's going to be incredible beach weather. Anybody traveling from St. Louis into Corpus Christi, you're going to be encountering quite a bit of cyclones and a lot of very heavy rain, possible tornadoes. So that's pretty much the rest of it. Spring has sprung for the rest of the nation. Now, going back to the West Coast here, we're going to be looking at the stormy pattern this weekend to next week. There's a lot of flooding possible. We're having snow not measured by inches, but by feet. And that's exactly where we need it. We need to put a dent in this drought. And as long as it snows in the Sierras, which is pretty much the reservoir for the rest of California, that is exactly where we need it. For Southern California, we're going to be getting a very, very heavy rain. South of San Francisco, they can expect anywhere from 3 to 5 inches of rain. So be prepared, everybody. There's a high surf advisory. It's not the best time to be going into the water, but it's better just to bunker down and be careful. Now, going in from Saturday into Sunday, it looks like the storm's going to be coming in, and with very heavy rain Sunday into Monday. So definitely be careful and get ready for the rainy beginning of the week. And it looks like rain for next weekend. So we'll have more on that.
Well, make sure if you visit the San Diego Zoo this weekend to have a good umbrella that got you and a coat to keep you warm, because if you haven't already, to go see the baby giraffe at the San Diego Zoo. Obi was nicknamed the tiny giraffe. Since then, he's exceeded the zookeeper's expectations of growth and is now 270 pounds and stands over 7 feet tall. So make sure if you go to the zoo this weekend, you have everything bundled, nice snack, take your kids out, and make sure you have everything going on. And it's going to be some nice weather. San Diego doesn't get too bad. It could always be a little bit worse, but thankfully where we live, we're blessed with good
Well,
weather.
Sunday's definitely going to give us a punch.
Well, I think we need it. We definitely need some rain up in here and to get it flowing.
I'd rather be in Hawaii right now, to be honest.
Well, I think everyone would much rather be in Hawaii right now,
Well, Hawaii's getting rain too.
Party at my house.
Yeah. Hey, as long as you keep that house in Hawaii, I think we should all just take a trip out there. Well, thanks for tuning in to Newscene. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.